They say, if you have power, you have everything. But no one ever tells you what it costs to hold that power. No one tells you about the nights when silence becomes louder than the crowd. No one tells you how a king learns to smile, even when his heart is breaking. This is not just a story. This is a confession of a man the world thinks is unbreakable. From the very beginning, his life was never his own. While other children played freely, he was being prepared. Prepared to lead. Prepared to carry a name that was bigger than him. He learned early that emotions are a luxury. And kings cannot afford luxuries. Every mistake was corrected. Every weakness erased. He wasn't raised to feel. He was raised to control. And slowly, he became someone the world admired. But someone he himself didn't fully recognize. As he grew, so did the expectations. People didn't just look at him. They watched him. Analyzed him. Judged him. He wasn't allowed to have a bad day. He wasn't allowed to fall apart. So he built something, a version of himself that never broke. A mask so perfect, even he started believing it was real. But deep inside, there were nights when he would sit alone, staring at the city lights, wondering, if I remove this crown, who am I? Then one evening, everything changed. It wasn't dramatic. No music. No grand moment. Just a simple encounter. She didn't lower her gaze. She didn't treat him like a king. She spoke to him like he was human. And that shook him. Because for the first time, someone wasn't impressed by his world. She was interested in his. Their connection grew, quietly. No one knew. No one noticed. It lived in small moments. Late-night conversations, soft laughter, shared silence that felt louder than words. With her, he didn't have to pretend. He didn't have to be strong. He could just exist. And that scared him. Because he realized he was falling in love. But love, for someone like him, was never simple. Every step he took was tied to responsibility. Every choice had consequences. And deep down, he knew the truth. This story didn't have a happy ending. One night, everything became clear. The pressure. The expectations. The reality. He stood there, looking at her, knowing he was about to lose the only thing that ever felt real. And yet, he said nothing. Because sometimes, love is not about holding on. Sometimes, it's about letting go, before the world forces you to. No final hug. No long speech. Just distance. Just absence. She waited, but he never came back. And in that silence, their entire story ended. The world didn't notice anything. He still smiled. Still attended events. Still lived like a king. But something inside him was gone. The laughter felt fake. The nights felt heavier. And the silence became unbearable. Years passed. Nothing changed. And yet, everything did. He became stronger, colder, more controlled. But somewhere deep inside, there was still a memory of a girl who once saw him without the crown. And maybe that's the truth about kings. They don't lose battles. They don't lose power. They only lose the parts of themselves no one ever knew existed. Some stories end, but some just pause. And sometimes, what you lose doesn't disappear. It waits for the right moment to come back and break you all over again. Years had passed. The world saw a stronger king. More powerful. More untouchable. But what they didn't see was the emptiness that never left. He achieved everything, but felt nothing. The nights were still the same. Quiet, heavy, endless. Sometimes, he would scroll through old memories in his mind, trying to remember her voice. But even that was slowly fading. And then, one day, she came back. Not dramatically. Not the way stories usually show. Just a moment, a random encounter, in a place he least expected. Their eyes met. Time stopped. Years of silence collapsed into a single second. But something was different. She wasn't the same. And neither was he. For the first time in years, they spoke. Not as lovers. Not as strangers. But as two people, who once meant everything to each other. She asked softly, "Why did you disappear, without a word?" He paused. "Because how do you explain that your life was never yours to begin with? How do you tell someone that loving them was the one thing you were not allowed to do?" So he said the only thing he could. "I had to." And that broke her more than any lie ever could. She looked at him, with eyes full of questions. "You could have fought." He smiled, a tired, quiet smile. "Kings don't fight for themselves. They sacrifice. They let go. They carry pain, so others don't have to." And in that moment, she finally understood. It was never about love being weak. It was about responsibility being stronger. For a brief moment, it felt like time had reversed. Like maybe, this was their second chance. But reality still stood between them. Nothing had changed. He was still a king. And she was still the one he couldn't have. Some stories are not meant to be rewritten. This time, there were words. This time, there was honesty. No silence. No confusion. just truth. And somehow, that made it even more painful. Because now they both knew. It wasn't fate. It wasn't timing. It was a choice he never had. As she turned to leave, she stopped. And said something he would carry forever. I never needed a king, I just needed you. And for the first time, the king had no answer. She walked away. Again. But this time, he didn't just lose her. He lost the last piece of hope. He didn't even realize he still had. Now, he doesn't look back. He doesn't wonder what if. Because deep down, he knows the truth. Some love stories are not meant to be lived. They are meant to be remembered. He ruled a kingdom, but never got the chance to rule his own heart.